Welcome everyone out there in internet land. This is Mike here with SERP Focus, and today I wanted to talk about something that I don't normally really talk about too much. I've brought it up and I've said that it's a very important part of SEO or running an SEO campaign, but I don't really go too much into it. And honestly, in the SEO sphere, the communities, I don't see enough people talking about it either. And that is a ongoing content strategy for your SEO campaign. And this isn't just, blogging every week. What I actually mean by this is creating an ongoing strategy of topically relevant content with, proper on-page optimization, interlinking images, really implementing a content strategy that is not only targeting additional keywords, but building relevance, building authority for your brand and across your website, and really knowing how to implement this strategy. But the core of what it comes down to is having a ongoing content strategy, right? Doing that weekly blog post or that two blog posts a week. And I'm actually going to show you a campaign here and show you why having this kind of strategy is so important, because I've had many scenarios where PBN links or just general, in general, my backlink strategy isn't as powerful as I normally see it, right? I don't get the same returns I do with some campaigns as others. And so this specific campaign I actually want to go over right here. This is a campaign that we had been working on for a few months, and you can see in the beginning of this campaign, we were just doing our PBN links, right? And we were getting some gains early on October, November, December. You can see some slight increases here. We're definitely gaining more positions, a few hundred here, a few hundred there. Not too many increases in top 3 positions. Not too many increases in the 4 to 10 positions. But what we were essentially doing up until this point is, kind of our general strategy where you do your Web 2.0, some brand linking, and then you have those few, higher powered links going to the inner pages with your anchor text or, more targeted LSI terms and things like that. And with all the data that we had gathered, we've noticed that we just weren't getting the same returns with the site that we normally do from those kind of more targeted direct links. And this is a fairly bigger brand, okay, this website here. This isn't some tiny little website. This is a national client. I do apologize. I have to blur out the stuff here because I can't just show their website and just put them on blast like that. But I'm going to take you through their analytics as well here in a little bit. But the one thing to understand is that we weren't seeing the returns we initially were looking for. And even moving into January, you see we have some still nice increases, but it just steadily wasn't really making too much of an impact on the campaign. And we had gone through, we did all the regular on-page optimization where, optimize for current keywords, current pages, add interlinking, but we didn't really have a solid, fresh content strategy in place. And it was around the time in December that we realized that, these months here, we weren't getting, as big of returns as we would have expected. So in December, we started constructing a content strategy and putting together, essentially what we were going to do on a weekly basis to ensure there was fresh, targeted, topically relevant content that contained all the aspects we needed when it came to on-page optimization, interlinking, authority outbound linking, referencing different materials, and all that kind of good stuff. So moving from December into January, January is when we actually got to implement the content strategy. It was right at the beginning of January. So what I really want to note here is that when you look at the PBN links and what we were gaining here, between October and December, we were essentially doing, your regular Web 2.0 branding, citations. We did a few of those higher powered links to the inner pages with exact match anchor text kind of thing. The more general strategy. did not have an ongoing strategy. And as you can see, we went 1,227 positions to 1,323 to 1,692, and then through December we kind of cut back on the linking, and we said what we're going to focus on is just branding the website with the link. So we were just doing our high authority or our high trust links or our network links literally just to the home page with the brand for the website, okay? And while we were making that switch, we implemented the content strategy in January. So now from this time to this time, you see our slight increases, and then from December into January, we went from 12 in the top 3 and 60 between 4 and 10 up to 18 in the top 3 and 86 between 4 and 10. But after we implement this content strategy throughout the January, our top 3 rankings doubled into February, more than doubled. We went from 18 in the top 3 to 93 rankings in the top 3. And we had a lot of our positions 4 through 10 in 86 up to 111. And as we're moving into March, you can see some of our 4 through 10 are now moving into the top 3. So we already have almost another 10 positions in the top 3, and we're still, in the beginning months here of March. So we still got some ways to go, and this is with 3 posts a week. We were doing 3 blog posts every week for the month of January and moving into February. And then we were doing our homepage brand links from our private network, and that's essentially the bulk of the optimization. And then, of course, the time spent in keyword research, doing the proper on-page optimization, and all that other good stuff, which makes the biggest impact on why we're having all these positions move up. Because a lot of these top 3 positions, these aren't just long tail keywords. A lot of these were pretty major keywords that we were showing for previously that were just stuck, on page 2 or page 3. And as we started building this authority and topical relevance with the on page, a lot of those higher search terms or more, single string or 2 string terms started to move up into the 4 through 10 in the top 3 spots. And we can see here, if I switch on over just to the traffic, and this is of course still SEMrush, but you can see from here we got this steady upstream, and then right when the content strategy is implemented, boom, that's when traffic almost doubled right here in SEMrush. Now, outside of SEMrush, I know they sometimes update their database. They will show more keywords the next month than the previous month because, they just find more, which is why I want to show you their actual analytics. Now, this is Google Data Studios. This is a platform provided by Google that allows you to create reports that pulls data from analytics, webmasters. There's many different places you can pull this data from. This is the actual report that I use for reporting to the client on kind of where we're at with the progress of the campaign, and where we're at, as far as year over year, month over month, lead count, all that other kind of stuff. So right now, this is coming directly from the analytics for this client. And you can see from right now, we're on December 1st through December 31st, okay? And we have 1,667 organic searches. Now, this changes obviously month to month, year to year, based on season, time of year, many different factors. Industry will influence the searches and everything. So December you might have 1,600, and in March you might have 13,000 or something like that, right? Just because of the way the industry flows. So the most important thing I want to point out is this increase from previous year, right? This is a year over year of the previous year. So we got 1,667 organic searches throughout December 2016, and that was a 10.7% increase from the previous year. Now, the contact form requests, this was set up when we started the campaign, so we don't have any data from the previous year to show the lead increase. But as far as the SEO is concerned, we can look at the organic searches and take a look at that year over year. So number December and moving into January is when we were just starting to implement that strategy. So December, we're at 10% increase from the previous year. Now, when we move over to January, which is right when we started to implement this strategy, is when we really started to see the results first start coming through. So now we're at 2,300 organic searches, and it's a 19.7% increase in traffic from the previous year. So this is right now just the very beginnings of this content getting indexed, right? We were watching the content get indexed, rankings start to come. More things were showing in SEMrush. Of course, we're starting to get the traffic increase. But now as we move through February is where we really start to see the effects of this content strategy and why it was so powerful. So if we look at February now right here, 3,166 organic searches, which was a 69.8% increase from the previous year, which is huge. Okay, this is absolutely huge. And of course, we did see a massive increase in index rate, in keywords ranking, and in organic traffic. And like I said, we weren't doing links to the inner pages that are currently ranking with exact match anchor text or doing any of that high authority linking in that manner. We were still using private network sites and doing that kind of links, but the only links we were doing like that was homepage branded links. And I believe we did one or two that had the brand name and then the company slogan, which isn't keyword targeted. So that's pretty much it. Implementing this content strategy, 3 posts a week with proper optimization, interlinking, images, all the stuff you really need to make this successful. And a lot of it comes down to keyword research, researching the top ranking sites, what they already have as far as keyword length and all that other good stuff. So what I really want to do right now is, now that I just showed you the power of really implementing this strategy, I want to hand you over to the real expert, the real content guy that I work with here. And this is Wes, okay? And Wes and me have known each other for a little over a year now. And he's actually in charge of all of my content, the strategies that we use, and the standard operating procedures for our current content service through SERP Focus, where we do a fully automated content service that's completely run and managed by Wes, and we've worked together for quite some time putting that all together. He's also in charge of all the content for any of my PBNs, for my Web 2.0. Pretty much if I am using content, this guy is managing the process for it, and we work together on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, to constantly enhance our process and make this more powerful. Because as you can see, content is huge, right? Content is king, right? The way they love to say in that cliche fashion. Honestly, content, backlinks, it's all freaking important. Those are the 2 things you need, right? They're both equally important. But most people are just focused on content, or most people are just focused on backlinks. Honestly, looking at the industry now, we got more backlink people than content people. But this is really the content part that you really need to focus on. 69.8% increase from the previous year just by implementing a 3 post a week content strategy. So with that said, I'm going to hand you over to Wes. Wes is going to introduce himself and just go over a little bit about this content strategy. What it entails, how we use it, implement it ourselves on our sites, and really the power behind what you can do and start implementing today to really kickstart your website and push some of those rankings that are currently stuck into the top positions and get a ton of long tail traffic and targeted, topically relevant traffic as well. So with that said, I'm going to hand you over to Wes. Here he is.
Thanks for that intro, man. What's going on, guys? My name is Wes, and we wanted to get together today so I could tell you a little bit about who I am, what my role in SERP Focus is, and go over a couple things that you can implement today into your content strategy in order to see a boost in your rankings. Now, like Mike said, we met a little bit over a year ago now, and we met through a Facebook group, started talking about links and content, and guys, that's when the magic really happened. We sat down together and started talking a lot more about content and decided to focus on a content management done-for-you service. Now, the reason why we did this is the fact that it's hard to go out there and find a service that's completely done for you around content and at a good quality, good rate. But I'm not here trying to pitch you today. I just wanted to mainly get in, introduce myself, and talk to you about what you can do right now to start seeing a boost in your rankings. So with that being said, guys, I want to introduce you to a nice tool called Seo Mofo. This tool has been a godsend for me, and I use this on every single project that I do. And this helps you to get your snippets for Google done properly. Now, you might be thinking Yoast does that, All-in-One SEO does that, all these plugins do that, and yes, those are great plugins. However, they focus on an outdated process. Over 4 years ago, Google started playing around with pixel width. Now, they don't care anymore what your title's character length is. Your character length could be over 70 characters and still rank in Google and not be truncated. How is this possible? It's because they care about pixel width. That's what really matters. And I'll show you a study here in just a moment that proved that. And the thing is, like I said, guys, if you're using smaller, thinner characters, you can get a longer title, but you want to make sure that the pixel width actually fits. Don't just go in there and say, I've got 69 characters, I should be good. So that's why I want to introduce you to this tool, guys. This is an amazing tool. Like I said, I use it daily. And this right here allows you to go ahead and put in your title and your description, just like you would over on any of the other SERP snippet tools. However, the biggest difference with this is that it goes through and shows you what it will look like in a pixel simulation. So to see what I'm talking about, guys, I'm just going to actually draw out some pipe bars here to show you as an example. Now we're at 108 pipe bars and it's not truncating yet. 110 is where it does truncate. 109 pipe bars, and that actually fit in there. Now I doubt you're going to be doing a bunch of eyes, but the point of this is to make sure that you focus on pixel width with your title. If you've got a bunch of A's and E's and I's and O's and U's and all the vowels in the alphabet, then you're going to have a smaller amount of words in your title, all right, and a smaller amount of characters that will actually fit. So a lot of people get aggravated wondering why their SERP snippet has been truncated for the title and the description because of the fact that they're fitting within those character limitations. But the thing is, guys, that's outdated. Google doesn't care about that. And you'll see right here as a real actual SERP snippet right now inside of Google. This snippet right here is 107 characters long. And just to make sure, I'm going to copy it and paste it in over here on the snippet tool. And see, 107 characters long, and it fits in Google. This is a live Google right here. So make sure, guys, that you focus on pixel width and not on character length. Number 2 that I want to talk about, guys, make sure with your title, and everyone knows this, but to really reiterate, you want to make sure that your seed keyword is in your title. Now, what's very important is you want to make sure that that seed keyword is at the beginning of your title and not in the middle, not at the end. So when you go in and do a Google search, and say we were to talk about SEO on-page optimization, right? Well, let's take a look at who the top ranking sites are. First of all, the first person that we see, on-page ranking factors. Look at that, SEO on-page optimization. On-page ranking factors, SEO best practices, on-page SEO, right? On-page SEO. Those are the sites that are ranking. That shows you, and you should make sure that you're doing this, but it shows you that your title should have your seed keyword as close to the beginning of that title as possible. Make sure you do this and you're off to a better start. Number 3 that you need to really look into, guys, make sure that your URL includes your seed keyword. Don't put it in there, though, if your seed keyword is 10 words long. Ugly URLs get less rankings in Google, all right? You want to make sure that if you have a long keyword, say your keyword is SEO, best SEO on page practices and techniques, right? It might be best to do your URL as SEO on-page tactics or SEO on-page techniques, and make on-page one word when you do it. That's just one example, but there's many ways of doing it, and I hope you get the point of what I'm talking about. Now, number 4, guys, focus on your description. Make sure your description not only has your seed keyword in it, but you want to make sure at the same time that it ends up having a bunch of synonyms. Make sure it's synonym related and it's built for an audience. That's what gets me into number 5. Make sure that you focus all of your content from your snippet to your actual article itself or your post as focused for the audience. You do not want to focus on the search engines. Now, I know this is exactly what Webmaster Tools says, but it's true. When you look at rankings, you want to focus on the audience because bounce rate is a very big ranking factor. The less people on your site means, and it doesn't have so much to do with clicks. Clicks matter tremendously. Clicks and bounce rate are probably the 2 most important factors of visitors. But what matters more about those clicks is, are they leaving right away and not converting? Now, you can get clicks to your site and bounce rate can be super high, but if they convert, you'll still rank. So there's a lot that goes into it, but just from a content strategy point, guys, focusing on bounce rate and keeping people on your page more, make long form content, and focus for the audience. Actually touch on things that people want to know about and need help with. You know, if you're an HVAC contractor or you're working for an HVAC contractor, if they're doing residential heating and air, you're not going to want to write a blog post on commercial heating and air if they don't do that. Why? Because the audience is not their audience. If you were to write about commercial heating and air, all you're doing is trying to get rankings, and rankings are no good unless you're planning on converting with them, right? Why get traffic to your site if you're not getting any kind of conversions? The goal is to make more money, get more conversions, right? So make sure that you focus on your audience absolutely all the way through your content, and that even goes into your title. The reason why I say make sure that focus seed keyword is as close to the beginning as possible is because if it's not user friendly and it's not geared to draw your audience in, and the only way that you can get your seed keyword in the beginning is by making it weird and not seem right, you shouldn't do that. So get as close as you can to the beginning, but make sure your title's geared for your audience to draw them in and get them to come to your site and read the great content that you have to display. And then lastly, guys, the last thing I want to talk about is index pages. Index pages and doing a competition analysis is a very important part of a content strategy. You need to make sure that you are analyzing your competition, not for their trust flow and citation flow or Moz rank or any of that, but analyzing their actual on-page SEO they're doing. Analyze how many pages they have. And with those pages, are they internally linked in a silo-like structure? The way that you need to look at it is, if you wanted to rank for SEO on-page optimization, you want to see what the number 1 spot, number 2 spot, number 3 spot have in terms of index pages. It'll give you a good idea of how much content that they have and possibly how much is related to your seed keyword and seed topic. So if we look right here, guys, if you want to have SEO on page optimization, you're going to need to start a very aggressive content strategy because Moz.com has over 103,000 index pages inside of Google. When we go to number 3, Mr. Backlinko, Brian Dean, great guy, he has over 80 index pages in Google, right? So when you're looking at that, guys, you want to make sure that you know exactly how many pages are indexed, know what you're up against, and know how much content and how aggressive you need to get when you're going about your content marketing strategy, all right? So those are just a few tips from us today. Like I said, I just wanted to get in, introduce myself, talk about my role over here at SERP Focus, and get in and give you those tips. So when it comes to our content strategy, guys, if you've got any questions, make sure you hit me up on Facebook. My Facebook handle is Wes F Marketing. You can also search just Wes Farrell. You'll see me on there. I'm also on Mike's friends list. But hit me up if you've got any questions about on-page strategy or the actual stuff that we talk about in the blog post. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me, Mike. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys later.